welcome to our Global Summer School webinar. I'm Claire Whelan and I oversee the Global Summer School at Imperial. Firstly, I want to thank you all for registering for this event. We've had exceptional numbers coming to find out more information, and I'm delighted to see you all, so many of you here with us today. And thank you also to the people who have signed up and will be watching this later at a more suitable time for you. Today's session will consist of about 25 to 30 minutes of a presentation from us, and we'll have a Q&A to help answer any of your questions. By the end of the session, we want you to have a much better understanding of the format and structure of Global Summer School, the application criteria, and the learning outcomes for yourselves. So please do type in your questions as we go along. Don't wait for the end. We have a wonderful team who are going to be typing answers and responses to your questions as we go through. And we'll also get a chance to call out some questions to us. The team will let us have your questions at the end as well that we haven't answered, and we can continue to answer them at the end. So do type as we go along. If your questions are very specific to yourself and your own circumstances, we won't be able to answer them today. Our apologies. We'll be directing you to email us. So please do send those questions through as well to globalsummerschool@imperial.ac.uk, and we'd be delighted to help following the session. And finally, just a note about our team. So you'll see here our permanent team for Global Summer School, myself, Claire Whelan. Claire Arnott, who I'll introduce you to in a moment on screen, is our summer school program manager, and she really puts together the whole program, all the content for it, and that oversees the delivery. We have Min, Captain, and Eleanor all on today as well, who will be answering your questions in the background. And so for the next, I'd like to hand over to Claire to give you a bit more information about Global Summer School.
Thank you very much. As Claire mentioned, it's great to see so many of you here today. I'm really excited to be able to give you some more information about Global Summer School. And then at the end, we can answer any questions that are still outstanding, and we're very happy to help. Before I kick off and give you lots of information, I'm actually going to show a video which hopefully gives you a real insight into what it's like to take part in Global Summer School. And it features our past students and also our past student mentors who work on the programme alongside the GSS team.
If you'd have told me that before even applying to uni,
I could learn in the heart of London
at a world top 10 university.
Study STEM subjects taught by leading academics in the fields.
Participate in group projects in state-of-the-art labs.
And that's not all.
that I could stay on campus in real student halls,
Going to socials and meeting students from all over the world.
Giving me a real taste of student life.
And use all of that to perfect my future uni applications.
I'd say, where do I sign up?
So hopefully that gave you a bit of a taste of what is the Global Summer School from our previous students. So what is the Global Summer School? So it's a 2-week residential STEM-based programme based right in the heart of central London. All of the teaching will be done from our South Kensington campus, which is really central in London. The programme is aimed at high-achieving students from all across the world, high-achieving academic students. So I'll talk a bit later about the entry requirements for the programme and what we look for in student applications. Throughout the programme, there will be 4 academic subjects running. So you can choose from data science and artificial intelligence, engineering, medicine and life sciences, or physics. And I'll talk a bit more in detail about each of the subject areas a bit later on. Throughout the Global Summer School, students will learn from current Imperial academics. All of the teachers on the programme and all of the academics on the programme do currently work and teach at Imperial. So it's likely if you do join us for the undergraduate programme that you might see some of the summer school teachers as you go throughout your degree with us. You'll have the opportunity to, of course, take your academic subject knowledge to the next level and gain lots of practical skills. Teaching will be done in a variety of different ways. So you might have some lab sessions. You may go and visit a hospital if you're in our medicine stream. There'll be lectures, classroom-based sessions and seminars, as well as hands-on practical sessions. As well as learning from current Imperial academics on our campus, you'll also have the opportunity to live as a real Imperial student. Throughout the programme, you'll be staying in our halls of residence, where our current undergraduates also stay. So you have the opportunity to see what it's like to study and live here as a student. The halls of residence are based a few minutes away from our central campus, so it's really easy to get around and then come to classes each day. As well as the academic side, of course, you'll get to meet like-minded students from all across the world. We have over 50 different nationalities attending the programme, so it's a really international, diverse mix of students. So you'll not only get to meet students from your home country, but you'll also get to meet students from really, really international background and get to learn more about those countries as well. Throughout the programme, as well as the academic sessions, you'll have access to professional advice and guidance during our masterclass sessions, which I'll talk a little bit about more in a few slides' time. So to give you a bit of an overview of the programme, once these slides load up, we will have 2 sessions running of the programme. The first will run in early July and the second will run in early August, both for 2 weeks. These sessions are fairly identical, so students will just attend one of the programmes. There are a few very, very minor differences across the programme, so please do read the information on the academic web pages. One of my colleagues can put a link in the chat now for you. And then you'll see if there are any slight changes also to the social programme, just to manage expectations, very slight changes. But overall, the programme is fairly identical. Applications opened last week, which is really exciting for the team. We've already seen a huge amount of applications started and submitted, which is great. But it does suggest that applications may close quite soon. They won't be open for too long. So if you are interested, to avoid disappointment, we do suggest that you submit your application as soon as possible. I'll talk a bit more about the application process so you have an idea of the full process. The fee for the programme is £7,260 for the summer 2025 programme. This covers all of your academic subjects, as well as any materials or equipment that you might use throughout that. Also includes a fully inclusive social programme, which I'll talk a little bit more about. An airport transfer from and to Heathrow at the beginning and at the end of the session, and any transport that's included as part of the social programme, and accommodation and full catering, of course. What we don't include is any travel to London internationally or in the UK, or any spending money that you might need in addition to the food and everything that we supply during the programme. So they're additional costs that you'd need to take into account, as well as any visa costs that might be applicable to you. So what does the programme actually look like? For the first week of the Global Summer School, you would choose from one of the specialised subject areas that I mentioned before. So that's data science and AI, engineering, medicine and life sciences, or physics. So that's the first week of the programme. The second week of the programme, all students will be taking part in our exciting Innovation Challenge, which is an opportunity for you to work with students from across all of the academic subject areas, and you will be mixed up and you will be with new groups from your first week. This is when you have the opportunity to solve a real world challenge with a focus on entrepreneurism, and it's delivered by our enterprise lab, which is based here at Imperial. And I'll talk a bit more about this and show a video so you've got a real idea of what the second week of the programme will look like. As I mentioned, both weeks of the programme, you will be taking part in university masterclasses. These are delivered by our career service and also our international recruitment team across a wide range of subjects, including how to complete a UCAS application and apply to UK universities, what do you need to include in your personal statement, and also a careers talk about where can you go after you complete the Global Summer School and an undergraduate degree in STEM. What does it look like? What options are there for your future careers? And of course, we have social programme as well as the academic subject. We really want you to get to experience London and the local area and to learn what it's like to be a student in this fantastic city. So as mentioned, the first week of the programme is where you'll be taking part in your academic subject areas. There's some information here on the screen about each of the areas. I won't read it out for you. And you can also visit our web pages, which has full details of all of the subjects. As a very quick run through, data science and artificial intelligence will be delivered by our Data Science Institute. You'll be working across the week on a project and delivering presentations at the end of the week with your group. And they'll be presented to all of the academics taking part in the programme, as well as all your students who are studying data science and AI. Engineering, you'll have an opportunity to take part in a number of taster sessions across 6 or 7 different engineering disciplines here at Imperial. So these tend to be half days, or some are slightly longer, some are slightly shorter. So you get a real taste of lots of different areas here at Imperial to see what you might want to come and study in the future with us, and also to give you an idea about what you can look for in your future career and study options. All of the engineering opportunities are on our website, so you'll be able to see all of the sessions that will be included for July and all of the sessions that are included for August. Medicine and life sciences, you will be with our medicine department for one day, where you'll have some lecture-based subjects. And you'll also have the opportunity to go to one of our partner hospitals to have a clinical skills day. So lots of hands-on activities there led by our clinical skills team. And then you'll also have 2 days in the lab with our life sciences team, a really practical hands-on experience for you there. And physics, similar to data science and AI, you'll be working with the same group of academics throughout the first week, working on projects in your groups. And then at the end of the first week, you will have an opportunity to present your findings. And then for data science and physics, there will also be some winning groups and prizes awarded for students who are taking part in those subject areas. Week 2, as briefly mentioned, is our Innovation Challenge, and led by the Imperial Enterprise Lab. You'll be working as a team. It will be mixed throughout all of the different academic areas, so we'll really build on your expertise and knowledge that each of you will have coming from different angles. And you'll be focusing on a project which is related to climate, health and well-being, AI and robotics, or social impact. And you'll decide on what your focus is when you meet as a group and start to discuss your ideas, working with the Enterprise Lab, and also meeting other startups that have come from Imperial, as well as having some workshops about things like pitching and presenting, and to build your confidence and knowledge. I'm going to show another short video which is based upon the second week, so you really get to learn from the academic staff and the students about what the second week entails and what it looks like for you.
The Imperial Enterprise Lab is the college's centre for innovation and entrepreneurship, and we support over 2,500 students, alumni and postdocs every year in a variety of ways, from developing entrepreneurial skills, attending workshops, and of course launching and developing new ventures. On week 2 of Global Summer School, we have challenged the students to really think about developing their entrepreneurial skills and coming up collectively with a new product or service. So they'll work in teams to do this and learn a whole new skill set around ideation, entrepreneurship. And at the end of the week, they'll have a chance to pitch their idea to a huge audience.
It's been really useful to understand kind of the process that people have to go through to develop startups and learning different techniques in teamwork. So it's been very productive and interesting.
Global Summer School is a really great way to help students prepare for university life. We want to empower these young people to think that anyone can be an entrepreneur, whatever it is they want to do in life.
So hopefully Sarah there, who's the lead for the second week of the programme, gave you a real taste of what it will be like to come and study the Innovation Challenge, hearing from students who've taken part in the programme in previous years as well. So that was information about the academic programme, and I'm sure you all want to hear a little bit about the social programme that we'll have on offer for you as well. Social programme will be running activities every evening and then also the weekends as well, as mentioned, to give you a real taste of what it's like to come and study in London and study within South Kensington as well, so you can see the facilities that are available to you. As you'd imagine, the first few days of the programme will be running an induction and orientation programme. Especially on the arrivals day, we'll have a full schedule of activities for you to get to know the local area, get to know each other, and also the mentors that you'll be with throughout the entire duration of the programme. That will include activities such as tours of the local area, tours of campus, and also a formal welcome and introduction to everything that will be happening throughout the 2 weeks that you're here with us. Evening social activities include a really varied number of activities. It could be things such as sport that shows in the picture at Ethos, which is our sports centre, which is just a few minutes walk from where you'll be staying. We also have a boat tour on the River Thames organised for you, and we'll be going to see a West End show as well for one of the evenings during the week. So really varied to give you a taste of what it's like to study, and also some on-campus activities as well, because we know the programme is really tiring. So we want to ensure that you have some chilled out time to get to know each other, to play games and sports and things like that as well. You will also be with us for one weekend during the programme. So on the Saturday, we have a really exciting trip to Brighton organised for everybody, which is a local seaside town, just a few hours drive from central London. That will be taking place on the Saturday. Sunday will be an opportunity for you to explore the local area in smaller groups. So as you might know, within South Kensington, we have lots of the really famous London museums are based within the area. We're very close to Harrods, which you can go and visit if you'd like to, and just a bit of time to relax and to hopefully spend time with your friends and explore the local area. The Sunday evening is our talent show, which is always one of the most popular activities as well. So if you have a specific talent, please do bring anything along with you. So it could be that you're a singer, it could be that you play an instrument, you can do magic tricks and all sorts. So if you do have a specific talent that you want to showcase, we ask that you bring any equipment or instruments with you. And then sadly, at the end of the programme, of course, we want to celebrate all of your achievements and to say our formal goodbyes to you. So on the final day of the programme, we will be presenting certificates of attendance to you, as well as any winning prizes. And then in the evening, we go off campus for our finale celebration, which includes a sit-down gala dinner. There'll be disco, a photo booth, and a great opportunity just to celebrate everything that you've achieved throughout the 2-week programme. And then finishing off on the final day before you all leave with a finale brunch on campus as well. Safety and support is paramount to the programme and something that myself and the whole team take very seriously. So I'm sure that you want to hear a little bit more about this. So all of our halls of residence, which is where you'll be staying in the accommodation, have secure swipe card entry. So all of the staff and all of the students staying there will have swipe cards, and nobody can access the accommodation unless they have this. Of course, as you'd expect, there's CCTV and 24-hour security in case any situations arise that we need to contact anybody. Students will also have all of the staff emergency contact details, as well as the security information if needed. So there is always going to be somebody there to support you if there's any issues at any time. As well as the on-campus security, there will also be a team of senior residential assistants and pastoral mentors. They will be staying in the accommodation with you, and they will provide round-the-clock support and supervision as well. So they will be the first point of contact if there's any issues or questions or situations that happen after hours. For example, if you might feel unwell, you'll be provided with 24-hour contact details if you do need to get hold of somebody. You will be, as a student, allocated both an academic mentor who will be with you throughout the academic programme during the day, and a pastoral mentor who will be with you in the evening during social activities. They will provide round-the-clock supervision for you and be contactable, obviously not whilst you're in your rooms. They are current Imperial undergraduates, so as well as being with you and supporting the programme, they're a great source of information as well to ask what it's like to study at Imperial as an undergraduate student. What do they like doing in their free time? Where do they like to visit? Where's their favourite place to go for food? They're a great way to get to know a little bit more about studying here at Imperial if you do choose to come back as an undergraduate student. Of course, key members of Global Summer School staff have completed relevant safeguarding training, and Claire, who introduced the webinar, she's our designated safeguarding lead. So she is available with any queries at all from staff, students working on the programme, and will be there to oversee all of our safeguarding policies, which you will have access to as well. And of course, all activities are risk assessed, and there will be full health and safety briefing carried out for the programme, and full information will be given to students in order to ensure that you remain safe throughout any activities that are taking place. So entry requirements, I'm sure a lot of you are interested in this slide. So entry requirements for the programme, of course, we're looking for students who really show a true enthusiasm for science and technology subjects, especially for the subject area that you've applied for. We look for this within a personal statement. So we ask all students to complete a personal statement as part of the application process. And within this, we want you to demonstrate why are you choosing to apply for this specific programme and why this specific subject area. Is it that you have great academic grades? What other extracurricular activities though have you done to support your enthusiasm? Are you part of a club? Have you volunteered somewhere that uses some of the skills that you'll need to take part in the programme? We really want to see this demonstrated in your personal statement so you stand out against all of the other applicants that we have. As you'd imagine, we of course look for academic grades. We do accept a really wide range of academic grades, but just for the ease of the presentation, we've included the GCSE equivalent, but we do accept a really wide range of international equivalencies. As we have students from over 50 different nationalities, we do know that lots of you will be studying different curriculums, and that's totally fine. You can find all of the entry requirements on our website, and one of my colleagues can pop a link in the chat to see where you can access all of the international entry requirements as well. So just for ease, we're looking for students who have received a majority of 9 to 7 grades, so that's A star to A at GCSE level, and you must have the equivalent of a grade 7 or A in maths and relevant science subjects to the course that you're choosing to apply for. We also need students to have a certain level of English language skills. That is the same English level as if you're applying for an undergraduate degree here. So IELTS equivalent, it will be a 6.5 IELTS with a 6 in each of the different categories. Again, we do accept a really wide range of English language. So it's not, if you don't have IELTS, don't worry, I'm sure we'll accept another qualification that you have. If you're currently studying in English at your school, we ask that students study for at least 50% of their subject area in English. And if you do that, then that should demonstrate your English language ability as well. So that should be fine. If you have that already, you won't need to take another English language test. And we also, as mentioned, we want a clear motivation for why you're attending the Global Summer School, and also what are your plans for the future? How will this help you with your future academic or career plans? To enrol in the Global Summer School, you must be 16 or 17 years old at the start of the programme. And unfortunately, we can't accept any students who turn 18 before or during their Global Summer School session. That's because students within the UK who are 18 or over are classed officially as adults, whereas under that, students are classed as children, 16 and 17-year-olds. So unfortunately, we can't include 18-year-olds on the Global Summer School programme. As well as your personal statement, as part of the application process, we also ask for you to include details of your parent or guardian, and also contact details for a teacher. For the parent and guardian, we ask that within your statement, of course, I'm sure you'll provide a glowing reference for your child, but we ask for you to include any details that you want us to take into consideration. So it could be if extra support is needed for any reasons, or if there's anything that you want us to know or add to the application that your child may not have included. For teachers, we contact teachers to provide a reference to support your application. And within the teacher's reference, they must confirm your academic level. So they'll confirm that the grades that you've entered are correct and that you've entered the right curriculum information. And they'll also confirm your English language ability. So they'll confirm if you're taught for over 50% of time, for example, in English, or confirm what your grade in GCSE English or equivalent is. Within the teacher reference, we also do ask for any other supporting information. So that will again support anything that you've put in your personal statement. So it could be around your academic ability, of course, your English language ability, but also any extracurricular activities that you take part in, your behaviour, how you get on in class, how you relate to other students, etc. So we do ask for the teachers to provide a statement as well. And we use all of this information in order to assess your applications when they come through to us. We cannot accept any applications if we don't receive your full academic information, and we won't be able to access the application until we've received both your parent or guardian reference and also your teacher's reference. So even though you've submitted your application, please make sure that the teachers and your parents or guardians are aware that they also need to complete a stage, otherwise it will hold up your application. So the application process, I've mentioned that applications are now open, which is great, and we're seeing a really high level of interest already, which is fantastic. So thank you if you're watching this and you've already submitted your application. As you'll see, we've already started to process them and contact some students. We've put here the deadline for applications is May. However, we will close the different subject areas once they get full. So we process applications on a first come, first basis. So if you've applied now, we'll be processing your application within the designated time. If you wait until May to apply, it's very likely that spaces won't be available, or they won't be available on your first choice subject area. So if you want to apply, we really would suggest that you apply as soon as possible to get everything moving. During the application process, we do ask for your first and second choices. So it might be if you apply a little bit later, or if places are already full, then we might offer you a place on your second choice option. So please do check any offers carefully in case we have done this. We also ask a question asking if you can attend both the July and the August sessions. If you tick that you can apply both, it might be that we offer you a place on your second choice session as well. So if you've applied for July, it might be that we offer you August. So please check that you've entered the correct information into your application, and also check if you are successful in receiving an offer. Just to manage expectations, the July session is always very, very popular, and places do fill on the July session quicker than the August session. Not meaning that you wait to apply for August, but if it's just July that you're interested in, please do get that application in as soon as possible to avoid disappointment at the later stages. So just quickly, the application process. So of course, step one is that you complete our online application form. We can pop a link in the chat for that as well, so you have easy access to that if needed. And we need to ensure, as mentioned, that your teacher and your parent or guardian references are submitted. Without that, we can't move on to the second stage of the application assessment. Once we have received all of the information that we need, the team will be working on assessing applications within 10 working days. And we will let you know if you're successful or not within those 10 working days. If we do have to contact you for more information, then the 10 working days starts from the date that we contacted you to ask for some more information. So please do, if we do contact you, please do get back to us as quickly as possible so you don't delay your application. If you are made a conditional offer, then you have 5 days to then submit your supporting documents, which need to be submitted online. So these supporting documents will be transcripts or academic certificates to demonstrate the grades that you've entered into the application form. It will also be documents to demonstrate your English language level if needed. And we also ask for a copy of your passport to be uploaded at this stage as well, so we can just double check everything's correct and that your age is correct on there as well. So please make sure you submit those within 5 days. We will then have, the Global Summer School team will then have 5 working days to check that we have received all of the documents that we need and that everything's correct and matches. If we need to come back to you, then we will ask for any further information at this stage as well. If there's any documents missing or if anything's unclear, please ensure that documents are uploaded in English. And if needed, ensure that you have translations ready for us as well. Obviously, we can't translate all of the documents if they're not in English. Hopefully at that stage, we'll be able to offer you an unconditional place for your chosen programme. We will send out an unconditional offer. This will be sent via DocuSign. And then you have 14 days to confirm that you want to take the place and also make the full payment. So this must be done in 14 days, otherwise we may need to withdraw the offer. If there's any issues with this, please contact us as soon as possible, and we can advise what needs to be done. If you apply later in the application stage, then we will reduce the deadline to 7 days to make the payment and confirm your place. As you'd imagine, as we get closer, we just need to make sure everything's confirmed and that you're set up on all of the different systems needed. And that is everything from me. So hopefully that answered the majority of your questions. I can see lots of questions have been coming in, which is fantastic. But now's an opportunity just to hand over to the team. Naima and Min, are there any questions that you want us to answer or anything, Claire, that you want to add to the presentation? I'll stop sharing my screen so you can, yeah. Yes.
Thank you. I mean, I've just been sorry, I've been typing away in the background as well. I'm trying to answer lots of really good questions. So if I can, yeah, Director Naima and the team, if you wouldn't mind now calling out some of the questions that have come up a lot, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. But obviously, we'd love to talk to you afterwards if we can't get through today. If you still have lots of burning questions, do obviously get in contact. But we will try and get through as many as we can now.
One of the first questions is how can candidates make their application as competitive as possible?
I didn't hear. Did you hear that, Claire?
Yeah, Naima was saying how can applicants make their application as strengthen it as much as possible. When we're looking for, there's different elements that we obviously look for in the eligibility criteria. So we're looking for, the basic things. You need to be, that age range that Claire discussed. We need to have a certain level of English language. Clearly, a large part of the weight of your application will be your grades, and make sure you meet our kind of a criteria for grades as well. But we are looking for in your personal statement and your teacher's reference, the reasons why this is the course for you, your interest in STEM. It's great to hear our students are obviously so well rounded. We often find as well that this might be your first time that you've tried to write a statement like this. And we've had some very short statements from students saying they like sciences, and then we get these wonderful glowing kind of references from teachers. So just make sure you're putting all that information in yourself. What are your extracurricular activities? What are you doing at school? What's your passion behind this? You might have an idea of where you want to do or what kind of course you want to do next. Claire, is there anything else you think you could add to that for the statements, and what would strengthen?
No, I think that's everything really. There is some guidance on our web pages as well, so have a read through that if you haven't already. And I would just say, please, when you're completing the application, just ensure that you've got all of the details on the application. If we have to come back to you, it will delay the processing a little bit, so it might push you slightly down the order. So if you can get everything in that you need to in a timely manner, then that will help us to process it, because it is very competitive and we are getting a lot of applications in. So just a couple of days delay could push you down the order slightly. So that would just be the other thing that I add to that.
Thanks, Claire.
Another question is around the innovation challenge. So someone said, my son is concerned about the connection between the learnings in the first week and the project in the second week, where students from all tracks are mixed up. Can you please comment on how the students are expected to use the learnings from the first week?
Yeah, I mean, Claire, do you mind if I dive in on that as well?
Yeah.
I think they are distinctly different weeks. And I think what we're trying to do here is showing the kind of the breadth of the experience as well at Imperial. Imperial isn't a place where you'll kind of just learn in a kind of academic silo. It's very much about global learning, about people coming together and collaborating. And I think in the future, not just at Imperial, but we're looking at building those skills that are going to be vitally important, even for kind of people who are heading STEM projects and research, is looking at those really important negotiation skills, pitching. It's a huge part of what we do here. We have the entrepreneurial team who work with startups. Imperial startups are huge, have been hugely successful. They really are kind of very innovative. And it's all about how you bring people from different disciplines together to work out solutions. It's also really important when you get to university. So in first and second year, for example, at Imperial, I know that you'll have group projects where you're thrown in with people, and that actually becomes quite a big part of your mark. So it's learning those skills in advance, and it's looking at that transition learning between school and university. And so that's a big part of what we're doing. So they're not necessarily going to be saying, okay, we learned about diabetes in week 1, and now we're going to apply that learning in week 2. But it is about taking people with different ideas, different ways of thinking, different types of scientists and their kind of skills, and bringing them together. And I think it's in that diversity of the teams in week 2 that really make those kind of projects successful. And they really are successful. It's such a joy to see them coming together. But I think that hopefully that helps explain. But yes, they're not going to be kind of following that learning as much. It is sometimes about taking those students out of comfort zones in a very hopefully supportive environment by us, so that they can start to experience being thrown into things a bit more and those new creative challenges, but hopefully in a very safe environment to try that out.
Great. There are a couple of questions regarding grades and equivalence and whether or not they can put predicted grades. So where can students find out about all the information they need to regarding grades?
I'll take that one. I don't know if anybody has been able to pop a link to the grades in the chat. If not, we can do that for you now, and we can include it in the follow-up email. So on our web pages, we've got full details of the application process, which we do know can be slightly tricky, especially if you're studying at an international school or studying international qualifications. So we've tried to provide as much of a detailed process for you as possible. And I really would advise you to take a look at that and read through in a step-by-step process. So it does break it down a bit. Also on our web pages is a link to international equivalency. So we know not everybody will be studying GCSEs, of course, but it does then link to the different equivalencies that we need for each of the different curriculums. Of course, we unfortunately can't go through all of those today because it would take us a couple of hours to go through, but it is on our web pages, so you can look for either the type of qualification that you're studying for or the country that you're studying in, and you should be able to find the information relating to things such as IB or baccalaureate, etc., etc. So we won't go through all of those questions if there are specifics at the moment. We know as well, because 16 and 17-year-olds, it doesn't mean that you're at the same level in different countries, and we know that you start different years at different times, and also throughout the year you'll be starting classes at different times. So we know it's not an easy fit for everybody, and we know that you might not all have completed qualifications equivalent to GCSE at this time when you're starting your application process, and you'll probably get your confirmed grades as we go throughout the process. So don't worry if you don't have your achieved grades, that's totally fine. In that state, at that point, if you don't have any achieved grades, we would ask you to pop in your predicted grades for GCSE equivalent so we can see, and these will be verified by your teacher once they complete their personal statement, the teacher's reference at that stage. We also do ask, if you haven't completed your GCSE equivalent, to put achieved class grades in as well. That gives us an idea of what you've previously studied and the level that you're previously at. And we'll look at the achieved class grades as well as your predicted grades for the next level. So I'd say rather than not put enough information in, please put too much information in, and we can always disregard anything that we don't need. If you don't put enough information in, it means that we have to come back to you and kind of start the process again. We do, of course, look for English, maths and STEM subjects grades. They're kind of key to applying for the programme. So we do look for those. However, please ensure that you put all of your other grades in that you've got. So you might not think they're relevant. It might be a language, or it might be a humanities subject or something that isn't fully relevant. But when we're assessing, we do look at the full width of your grades. So we do want to see overall, what will your overall grades be? We do know, of course, that our students are amazing in science, so it might be there's a specific subject area that you're not as good at. That doesn't mean that we're going to disregard your application totally if there's just one subject area that dips under the entry requirements. That it definitely won't, but we want to see the full range of what you're studying as well, to just see how fully rounded it is, and just to check your overall academic level as well, just due to the really competitive nature of the summer school and Imperial. So hopefully that helped, but I would, as your first point of call, have a look at the international equivalencies web pages, which are part of the GSS web pages, and once you've read through that, if you still can't find the information that you need, then you can email the team at globalsummerschool@imperial.ac.uk, and then we can take a look. If you have a transcript, then please send it and attach it, and we can have a look at that as well. That might be the easiest way around that. Did that answer the question, Naima, or did I go off on a bit of a tangent?
No, that answered the question. There were quite a few questions about specific grades, but yes, to email the team. Another question around visas. So will we provide the information required by UK immigration to obtain the visa?
So everybody will be in a different situation due to the visa regulations, depending what country you're from or where you live. So the Global Summer School team are not qualified visa professionals, so we can't actually provide any advice to the visas that you need. However, on our web pages, you'll see there's a link to the visa team. and all of the information on there about if you would need to apply for a visa or not. So please have a look. Again, we can include this in our follow-up email if useful. So please follow the link to the visa advisory team, and then full details will be on there. And it really does depend on your specific situation. So we can't provide any general advice. Students attending the programme, unless of course you're already based in the UK as a UK resident, you'll be following their standard visitor route. So that means some of you will need to apply for a visa and some of you won't, but it just depends on what your nationality is and what passports you hold, I'm afraid. So I can't provide any blanket advice for that, but full details are on the web pages. And please make sure that you read it as early as possible, just to make sure that you are aware either way. Visa processing during the summer, it does get a lot busier during the summer, as you'd imagine. Lots of people are going on holiday or coming over for summer programs both ways, and people from the UK are travelling out. So it does get busy. So even if they have said that the processing time is short at the moment, it doesn't mean the processing time will be short during the summer. So please apply as soon as possible, really, to ensure that you can travel into the UK. If you do need a visa letter or a letter of recommendation for any visa applications, we will provide details of how you can request this from the Global Summer School team. So once you've confirmed your place and made the payment, we'll send you a confirmation email confirming your place. And then within the week after you've received the confirmation email, we'll send you information about arrivals and travel details. And as part of that, there'll be a form for you to fill in with arrival details, but also you can use the same form to request any visa letters that you might need. And then the team will send out an official letter that you can use for visa purposes. We'd also recommend that you just have a copy of this in your hand luggage when you travel over to the UK, along with your passport, any visa documentation, and any insurance documentation just in your hand luggage. Just so you've got it to hand. If there's any questions at the border, then you've got it and you can just prove the reasons that you're coming into the UK, and not envisaging any issues, but just so you've got all of the details. I do the same thing when I travel as well, just to make sure I've got everything that I need. So I'm not panicking, especially because Wi-Fi will be terrible at the airport, so you won't be able to log in as easily. So just have everything printed and in your hand luggage as needed.
There are a couple of questions about arrival dates. So should students arrive the day before the program starts or the day that the program starts?
So the programs will start on a Monday. So students should arrive on a Monday. So it's the first program will start on the 30th of June, and the second program will start on the 4th of August. So there'll be full information once you've completed the process of the arrival information, but arrivals will be on those days. We do not have any accommodation available if students or parents or anybody arrives on the Sunday. The programme won't have started, so we don't have any accommodation. If you do need to arrive earlier due to travel plans or whatever the reasons, then you would need to organise your own independent accommodation on those days. Just noting that student or under 18s in the UK can't book accommodation at hotels independently on their own. So they would need to be accompanied by an 18 or over, someone 18 or over. So just to take that into account, if you are planning to travel on your own, there might need to be some different arrangements made. But yes, Monday will be the arrivals day, and then the Friday of the programme will be, the second Friday of the programme will be the departures day. So students will be checking out of their accommodation on or before 10 a.m. on the final Friday, and then we'll be departing campus after that. And again, full departure information will be in that first email that you receive from us. But as well as having Heathrow transfers from Heathrow on the Monday, we'll also have transfers back to Heathrow on that final Friday as well, if you do need to travel to Heathrow, or if you choose to depart independently or get picked up by a parent or guardian or anyone else, then that's also fine as well. And we'll collect all of that information through that survey that I mentioned.
There's a few questions around being allowed off campus without any kind of supervision, or if someone's paid for like a concert, will they be allowed to go to that without any, basically on their own?
I'll hand it over to you, Claire.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch it. So could you say that again? Naima, I think there's some interference in the background. Can you
Yeah,
say that
sure.
again?
So will students be allowed off campus on their own throughout the duration of the program, especially if they've booked something previously, like a concert?
Unfortunately not. We are asking, this is a full kind of commitment program. We do want you to have a very kind of academically rigorous time. We have a lot of stuff going on in the evenings for safeguarding. Once students are in our care, we need them to stay in our care for the 2 weeks. Having kind of a system, we don't have the staff and the capacity to allow kind of students to come and go. I think it would lead to some concerns on our behalf on how we look after the students. So unfortunately, we have to say if students are coming, we really want that full commitment from them for the 2 weeks. So we would expect them to stay here with us for the full duration of that program.
Right. How many students will there be attending the program?
So we have a large number now coming. So we have 280 coming in session 1 and 280 again in session 2. Now that's broken down. We have actually 5 classes. We have 2 of engineering and as Claire said, data science and artificial intelligence. We have medicine, life sciences, and we have physics. So there's about 50 to 60 capacity per class. We do always reach capacity. But those classes then, so in that group of like 50 to 60 per class, you'll then you may have kind of the odd lecture stuff put together, but then you're broken down again into much smaller groups for practical activities. We want this to be a very practical program, so you'll have small groups, sometimes 5. You'll have a mentor. You'll be in a group of about 8 for a mentor. So there's different kind of activities. You'll have different group sizes, but that's the kind of the full capacities for the program.
Will you be doing any kind of pickup or drop-off service from the airport?
Yeah,
Okay.
as mentioned, we'll be picking up from Heathrow on the first day and then dropping back off at Heathrow on the final day of the programme, and the full information will come out in one of the first emails that unconditional offer holders receive. We don't offer any pickups to any other UK airports or train stations, so it would be from Heathrow.
This is a nice question. Can we give some examples of projects that we have worked on in the past throughout the programme?
What is that for, the personal statement?
The programme itself, so examples of projects that we've run within the 2 weeks. So like in the innovation challenge.
Is it the innovation or, I mean, I was going to say to Claire, did you want to talk through some of the example of what you're expecting to have? Is it innovation challenge that?
The questions about some of the stuff that the students have worked on during the program in the past.
So it really depends on the subject area. So I'd suggest if the student who's asked the question has a look at the web pages for all of the different academic areas, that was probably a good starting point. It does demonstrate what the programme will be. And then if there's any specific questions about, or if they want to type it, if we have enough time, about any of the specific areas, then we can answer that. But I think it would take too long to go through all of the different academic areas. I'm conscious that we've got a lot of questions to get through still, which is great, but I want to ensure that we get through them all.
How many days will it take for an answer to an application?
So the steps of the application process were on one of the slides of the presentation. So we aim to respond to all completed applications within 10 working days, but of course it depends if all of the information has been included or if we need to follow up about anything. If it will take longer for any reason, then we'll contact students who are on that stage of the application.
Someone asked if you could repeat regarding the
Have we lost you, Naima?
no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, someone's asked if you can repeat about the references.
Repeat what about the references, sorry?
Just repeat information regarding references. They haven't specified.
Yeah, I'm not sure what information specifically, but we ask for 2 references as part of the application process. One will be from your parent or guardian, and one will be from a teacher of your choosing. So during the application process, we'll ask for the details of those people, and then we'll automatically email out whoever you have included to ask for a reference from your parent or guardian, and also from your teacher. So please ensure, this is another thing that actually holds up applications quite a lot, please ensure that the details are correct of the email address you've included. Otherwise, obviously, the teacher won't receive your reference. And please, I would suggest you let them know that you've put their details in as a referee, so they know that they're expecting it. I'm sure your teachers get lots of emails into their inbox that they probably don't have time to respond to. So if they're looking out for something from Imperial, then they'll make sure that they do it for you.
Someone's asked, what should the balance be between my international background and the extracurriculars on my application? It's hard to create a comprehensive account of myself in only 150 words.
Good question. So your academic ability will be demonstrated, most of it will be demonstrated from your academic grades. So you don't need to repeat all of that, because we will take your whole application form into account. Academically, if there's anything such as you're part of a club, you've gone to a competition, or you've won a prize, or something that's not demonstrated on your grades, then please include that. You don't need to go through all of your grades again, because we've already got it. And like you said, it would be a bit of a waste of your short allowance for words.
We've answered quite a lot of these questions. If students want to find out what's included in the program fee, where can they go to find that out?
What's included in the fee, did you say?
In the fee?
Yeah, if students want to find out what's included in the program fee, where can they go to find that out?
We can tell you now. But yeah, there'll be information on our website. But Claire, do you want to go through everything that's included? It's basically everything you need for the 2 weeks while you're here, apart from kind of snack money if you want to get it, or any souvenirs you wanted. But Claire, if you wouldn't mind just running through again the kind of what's included in that fee.
Yeah. So what's included is the airport transfers, which I feel like I've mentioned a lot now. So airport transfers to and from Heathrow, all of your academic classes. So that will include any equipment or chemicals or teachers that will be included within there. So all of anything related to your classes are included. Anything related to the social activities included. So that's entry fees if needed, any catering that takes place, and also transport to and from the social activities. As well as, no, is that everything? Oh, of course, your accommodation. Your 2 weeks accommodation is included. You'll be accommodated in twin rooms in our accommodation, and they'll be as standard as mixed gender corridors. But if you do want to stay in a single gender corridor, then you can request that on the original survey that you complete, so we can make sure that we put you in the right accommodation. And also catering, so 3 meals a day catering will be included throughout the programme. As Claire mentioned, if there's any snacks that you want to buy that's in addition to the 3 meals a day, you'll need to bring money for that. And if there's any souvenirs or anything that you want to buy, when you might have a bit of free time to go shopping on that Sunday, if you want to go shopping, etc. Just to note on that campus is a cashless campus. So none of the catering outlets or the snack vending machines or anything accept cash. So if you do want to spend some additional money to buy a coffee in the morning or a cake to get you through the afternoon, then please make sure that you have access to a payment card of some description. It could be that it's a payment card on your phone. That's fine. We can still accept that, but it needs to be some form of electronic payment card rather than cash. Of course, you can use cash in the surrounding areas, but we would advise that you don't bring much cash with you at all. There are cash machines and ATMs if you do need to get any cash out for any reason. But please, if you do want to buy snacks or anything on campus, or any merchandise as well, so lots of students want to buy hoodies or jumpers or bags and that kind of thing, which are Imperial branded, you will need a payment card for that.
Right, we probably have time for a couple more questions. Still regarding the fee, is medical insurance included in the fee?
I think I heard that question. No, medical insurance is not included in the fee. We won't ask to see a copy of it. But please ensure that you have all of relevant medical and travel insurance for your time in the UK. We can't provide any suggestions of who to use, so that would be something that you need to organise yourself. But please ensure that you have it with you just in case there is any situations where you need to go to the doctors or get any medication, and then you know that you'll be covered for your duration of time in the programme.
Will students need to bring their own laptops for the programme?
It depends what subject area you're studying. So if you're studying data science and AI, you will definitely need to bring a laptop. Again, full information will be provided. If you're studying the other subjects, you don't need to have a laptop. But if you do have one, then we suggest that it's probably very useful that you bring it if you feel comfortable to bring it with you throughout the programme. There will be IT facilities available, but it depends if you like taking notes on your laptop, or if you like to do research on your laptop as well, or if you'd prefer to handwrite it, then you might want to, use an old-fashioned notebook like me. So it's up to you, but data science and AI students definitely will need a laptop with them.
So someone has asked, in week 2, what real project will we solve? So what I guess the what's in the innovation challenge, what projects will they be able to work on?
Sorry, Claire.
No, you go.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if you've published it. Normally, historically, we don't give out too much information in advance because we don't want it all researched and finalised in advance. But we try to obviously make it something that's going to be really suitable for everyone studying all the different subjects, and we're really mindful of that. But I think giving too much, our students are wonderful and they want to do lots of research and pre-reading, and we really want this about the experience and the challenge of being set during the summer school. So generally we won't give out all of that information, but Claire, I don't know if you want to add to anything to that.
Yeah, so the projects will actually kind of be developed as you go for the second week. So there's not a specific project. So you'll be developing a solution or an idea about something. So it's really your own ideas. However, I can tell you the topics that you'll be focusing on. They're general topics, but so I mean it does cover quite a lot. So it's either climate, health and well-being, AI and robotics, or social impact. So they're very broad, purposely very broad to incorporate whatever the skills within your team are and the knowledge within your team. So we don't have the specific projects, I'm afraid, anyway, even if we did have them.
No, it's good to know actually, the title. Thank you, it's exciting.
We only have 2 minutes left, so would you like to take a final question and then we close? Yeah. So
and then we can stay on to answer any of the questions that we haven't been able to get to yet. So we will make sure that we provide an answer to everybody before we log off.
Yeah, of course. So someone's asked, if by any chance you don't get accepted into the July session, will you be able to apply again for the August session?
So you won't need to apply again. So during the application process, there is a question to say, which session do you prefer? Sorry, can't get my words out. Which session would you prefer to attend, July or August? And then another question to say, can you attend either session? So if you've ticked either and July is already full, then we may be able to consider you for August. If you don't tick either, then we won't be able to consider you for August. So just when you're filling in the application, just make sure you've provided all of the information that we've asked for. But please don't submit an additional application. It means that you'll go right to the bottom of the pile. So it's probably very unlikely that you'd be considered at that stage. One more question, Noma?
Let me find a question.
I can find one if not.
So one question is, do we need to notify teachers and parents or actually collect references from them and submit them ourselves?
So hopefully this question's already been answered. So you'll need to provide the contact details for your referees. We will contact them automatically, but I would suggest that you let them know that you've submitted an application so they know that that an email will be coming to them so it doesn't get lost. Potentially it might go into their spam boxes as well. So if they haven't received it, they will receive it as soon as you submit your application. If they haven't received it, just please ask them to check any spam or junk boxes as well before contacting us. And if they still haven't got it, we can resend any reference links as needed. And I think that's our time up, unfortunately, to answer any questions. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to see so many of you and to see so many questions. We'll stay on, like I mentioned, to ensure that we answer any questions that are pending. So if you are still waiting for an answer, hang on and we'll get to you as soon as we can type the reply to you. If we still haven't been able to answer your question, or you have a specific question about your application or an international qualification, then please do email us to our office email address, and then we will get back to you as soon as possible with a bit more of a specific answer. I'll hand over to Claire.
Thank you. I think Claire's summed it up there from all of us anyway. So thank you very much for your time. And as Claire said, just if you are waiting for an answer, just hold on for now then, and the team will start working through them and getting a response.